We on? Amazing. Welcome to the Father State YouTube Live. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Apologize for the late start, but we are black, and black people are late. We start on CP time. I'm glad you're here. You love me?
I don't really know you.
Do you have to know me to love me? Yeah, well, I love you.
Thank you.
Are you surprised?
Not really.
Were you surprised that I threw you off the radio show?
Not really.
And one of the reasons I'm concerned about you being a progressive is that...
Me specifically or all progressives?
All men.
Men, only men.
Only men.
Progressive women don't concern you.
It's normal, abnormal for women to be progressive.
Interesting.
Or liberal, but
Wow.
It's abnormal for a man to be a liberal or progressive. It's a sign of being a beta male.
I didn't know that.
Because real men are conservative.
If I became conservative, would I no longer be beta?
You would become alpha.
Wow. Something to think about.
Do you find that it's difficult for young men of your age group, to find good women to date?
Not at all.
Why don't you date men?
I'm not attracted to men.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But would you consider it might be a man? Would you think of it as a man?
It? Would I think of it as a man?
Right.
It's a person, right? I don't say
Right,
it.
it's a female. The children of the lie, the liberal media, the Democratic Party, the Rhino Republicans, the Never Trumpers.
Okay.
So
like everybody but Trumpers.
The hashtag movement. Plus you
No, I
seem
don't
mentally off. You know, like the lights was on, but nobody was home.
You're making assessments of who's mentally off on TV.
But that's how evil the children of the left are. They'll destroy you to get what they want, and that's power and wealth.
I'm curious, if they're so powerful, the children of the lie.
But they're not powerful.
Oh, I thought you just said they
that's
were.
what they want.
I thought you said they will destroy you.
They will. They'll destroy you. They'll try to destroy you.
Oh, okay.
To get power and wealth.
Gotcha.
Do you agree with that?
No.
We'll bring that up.
The reason was you've called me a girly man so many times. Remember
that's
we talked about
you're
that?
Weak.
Oh, okay.
That's because it's not because I think you.
That I'm gay.
Right.
Got it. Glad we clarified. You know, a lot of people are sexually assaulted and raped, and they don't come forward. And the reason they don't come.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
That's a made-up lie, too.
Oh, who made that up?
The children of the left.
Oh, I should have.
The children of the lie.
I should have known.
They're doing it because they hate men.
Oh.
And they especially hate straight, white, conservative, Christian men of power. If it wasn't for them, America would be a socialist society already.
It would be what?
A socialist society by getting rid of jobs. Many people, most people...
He took care of people by getting rid of jobs.
Full-time jobs, and they had to work 2 part-time jobs in order to survive.
Jesse, you don't even understand the talking points you're using.
The rest, free Obama phones.
That's socialism?
Is that socialism? But you're not answering the question.
That's the answer.
But
you don't like the answer.
You don't understand the question?
I think I understand it.
What is it about the question that's difficult for you? Would you, David Patman, believe it just because she said it?
I liked how you had to check what my last name was there. I would believe it enough to investigate it, yeah.
Give me just a yes. I'm black and slow. So give me a simple yes or no.
This is
your friends are watching right now.
I hope so.
And they're watching because they thought you were going to kick my butt. So you got to live up to it.
I found out this was a debate today.
Would you believe it?
Are these really the most important topics for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are there others that are more important for you?
Yeah.
Like what, for example?
Our economic system, wealth inequality, healthcare, geopolitics, nuclear disarmament, climate change. People?
And the black people go into a trance, and they go in and they reach for the D while eating chicken. And I guarantee you, if they went now and voted for, and asked them to vote for it, they'll go with the homosexuals.
I hope so.
And the Democratic Party because they have been morally bankrupt.
I disagree with that.
The radical homosexuals have gotten in there, they corrupt the churches. Is there anything else?
Not that I can think of.
That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing. People coming from S-hole countries, and we don't have no idea who's crossing the borders. We could have Bin Laden folks coming.
I think we just disagree.
Amazing.
It's crazy to disagree, isn't it?
Is that a good thing that the president has done?
What did he do?
Bring back jobs?
How?
It doesn't matter how. He's brought them back. Is that a good thing?
If you're going to claim he did it, you have to explain how.
Is that a good thing that it happened?
It's good for there to be jobs. The question is, what did he do to bring the jobs back?
Whatever he did. Is it a good thing?
Can you identify what he did?
I just told you, man.
So how do you know he did it?
Is it a good thing that he did or not?
Jobs are good. I'm asking you what Trump did to create
them. So you're saying yes to that. What is a man?
I'm sorry?
What is a man?
I do politics, not dictionaries.
Are you a man? Love. What is love?
I don't do dictionary definitions. I won't be doing dictionary definitions at any of my events. That's the one thing. If people are expecting that, I'm not doing any dictionary definitions.
The sluts. It's so amazing.
Incredible.
You like sluts?
I'm sorry?
You like sluts?
I don't know any.
Have you ever slept with a slut?
I don't think so.
Would you date a slut?
It's a pejorative. It's not a term I use.
Amazing. Did you have fun?
No. In 1,000 years, when the sociologists and the philosophers try to figure out what exactly happened in the United States right around this time, this type of conversation is going to be incredibly informative for them. So I'm glad to have participated in it.
Good, man. They're going to say, wow, Jesse was amazing. Check out our brand new song on the JesseLeePeterson.com, on my Instagram.
You're doing songs now?
Huh?
Facebook, Twitter.
Facebook, Twitter, yeah.
You sing or you play an instrument?
It's called
or?
beta male. You know what a beta male is?
No.
Check out the song.
Jeez. Trump, right?
Alpha, not beta.
See him with the toilet paper on his shoe? Super alpha move, huh?
I didn't see it, but alpha. Thank you all. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right.
Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
Uh-oh. I love mangoes too.
99 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
The American people will lie. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down.
All right, that got messed up. I accidentally hit a button, so I guess we're cutting the song early. That's my fault, folks. I very much apologize. We are going to be talking about the global panic over the Omicron. I know it as Omicron, but some people say have other names for it.
It's called the Omicron.
Exactly. I don't believe as yet the panic is warranted, but we will get to that. We'll also talk about the extension of masking in the United States. It has been extended. I also will wear, for the first time, a proper NIOSH certified N95. I've never worn one before, but I will be flying tomorrow. I don't even really understand how you put it on, but I'm going to try it for you guys in a little bit. And this may be the last stream of the year, quite frankly, because I fly out tomorrow and I'm going to be gone for a while. Now, I may do some streaming while I'm gone. Oh, hold on a second. We already have to be banned. It's actually crazy. It's people are already getting banned. It's humiliating. This may be the last stream of the year, but if we get to 100, I'll do more streaming. Okay. I'll take breaks from my vacation and do more streaming. I do want to say thank you to some people who have already signed up here. And unfortunately, I seem to have a limitation on Twitch for how far back I can see. Why is this? Let me see here. If I uncheck this, man, I don't know why I can't go back further. I know Jen here just gifted 2. Deeper Shades of House resubbed. Fifth Dimension signed up. Nikki206, and I think there were 2 more, or no, 3 more. So that'll put us at 7. Also want to say thanks to Gabor Casimir, who just signed up at joinpacman.com, putting us at 8. Okay. So that's where we are right now. From that particular standpoint. All right. So they are doing the Christmas tree lighting. Like, I don't care about it. And we didn't, yesterday while we were streaming, they happened to be doing the menorah lighting for the 4th night of Hanukkah. And today they're doing the Christmas tree. We'll be here streaming, so we'll look at it, but it's really not the point of today's stream. Let's talk about what's going on with Omicron. First of all, U.S. tightens travel testing requirements, mask mandates as part of a broader fight against COVID. The Biden administration tightening travel rules, and within the U.S. requiring all inbound international passengers to test within 24 hours of departure. I genuinely don't know how that's going to work. I really don't. And many of you know the circumstances I had traveling back from Spain 3.5 months ago, where my girlfriend had 2 false positive antigen tests, and we needed it. Were it not for getting a PCR, which took 24 hours, we would have been stuck in Spain. There would have been no show in the second half of August. I would have been quarantining in Spain. And if there had been a 24-hour requirement at the time rather than 72, we would have been screwed. So that's a problem. I don't know how it's going to be managed. Also extending mask requirement on all domestic flights and public transit through March 18th. It was previously February 18th. At this point, it's hard to imagine mask mandates for airlines going away anytime soon. Anytime soon. The changes are part of a broader plan. Another article about this as well. Let's see what we have here. The steps come as the first known U.S. case of the Omicron variant was detected in California in someone who came back from South Africa a week ago. There are also cases now in Minnesota and, hold on, do I have it? Second U.S. case in Minnesota, someone who had been in New York. Guys, it's everywhere already. It's everywhere at this point. The governor says there's no confirmed cases in New York. Like, obviously there are. So, I mean, not confirmed, but obviously there are cases. Also, Omicron found in Colorado. We still do not know if it's more severe. We just don't know. If it's not more severe, then this could be the beginning of what Vincent Racaniello said is likely to come eventually, which is more transmissible, less severe, which is what we want. Doesn't mean we go out and we try to get sick, right? That's not what it is at all. But that remains to be seen. We just do not know. Further tightening testing requirements. We know that. Only a 24-hour window to be tested. That's really, really tough. Really tough, particularly with PCR. I don't even know that really, I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth about the travel measures. Particularly the travel bans for certain countries, where it's like by the time they banned South Africa from traveling here, it was already in Europe. It was already here, almost certainly. Joe Biden pulling out all the stops will encourage vaccinations, make them accessible, launch family vaccination clinics, and on and on and on. So meanwhile, in Germany, Merkel to enforce lockdown for unvaccinated with COVID surging, not too dissimilar from what's happening in Austria. Oh, hold on. We got to ban someone spreading disinformation. The COVID survival rate is not 99.999998. About 0.8% is the death rate of COVID, and that is 6 times that of flu. So you're just going to get banned for the disinformation. There's just no tolerance for it. Why even bother? Really sad, the number of people getting banned. I want to say thanks to Chronically Steph for the Twitch Prime sub. Very much appreciate that stuff. Germany is poised to clamp down on people who aren't vaccinated and drastically curtail social contacts to ease pressure on increasingly stretched hospitals. In one of her final acts as chancellor, Angela Merkel will hold talks with the 16 regional premiers later today, which are expected to agree on new curbs, including only allowing vaccinated people or recovered individuals into restaurants, theaters, and non-essential stores. According to a draft agreement prepared by Merkel's office, there will also be tighter contact restrictions for non-vaxxed people. Nightclubs will be closed in places with high rates, and there will be strict limits on spectators at large public events. The more than 12 million adults not inoculated is what is creating a challenge for the health system. If you look at vaccination rates, very pleased to see Spain and Portugal extremely high vaccination rate. You love to see it. Some problematic elements over here. Now, what you have to also remember is some of these countries do not yet have ubiquitous access to vaccines, a factor that we certainly have to account for. So that's what Germany's doing. Let's look at what Austria is doing. Here it is. Austria introduces lockdown for unvaccinated. About 2 million people who have not been fully vaccinated have been placed in lockdown. We are not taking this lightly, but unfortunately it is necessary. So listen, a lot of people have been asking me, David, sir, what is your view as to what people should be doing? And I am not a medical professional, so I'm not going to suggest to people anything that I come up with. Okay. Who am I? I'm no one. I am just going to go by what is being said by medical professionals, right?
Please proceed, Governor.
Exactly. So my view is that there's essentially two approaches at this point in time. I'm not telling anybody which choice to make, but I'm saying there are essentially two approaches at this point. One approach is any level of elevated risk is not tolerable, and thus you essentially need to hide out, right? I mean, it's like you just got to be a hermit. That's one option. The second choice is to say, this is going to be the situation at least for a couple of years, right? I mean, when you look at the numbers that are present, okay, we had the April peak, then the July peak, then these subsequent peaks, November, December, January, and then we were back down. We had a pop in April again and back down. We had a big surge at the end of September and then back down, and now we're all the way back up, okay? It is extremely unlikely, particularly with so many anti-vaxxers in the United States, that this is just going to go away. You know, people talk about the end of the pandemic. The end of the pandemic will be it slowly becomes endemic and hopefully less severe. So it's up to you to decide your level of risk. Right now, the way I'm thinking about it is I've had my third dose. I'm very powerfully boosted. My Wi-Fi is off the charts on that basis. That's a joke, by the way. I don't want to get demonetized. I've had my third shot. I am avoiding certain things. Like, for example, I was 95% done with big concerts before COVID. It's just annoying. Last I told, I went to a Billy Joel concert. I've got some guy drunk elbowing me the whole time, cheering every time he likes this. I just don't need it. I'll just watch the concert on TV. Large sporting events. Okay, guys, I've been to the football. I've been to the hockey. I've been to 100 Celtics game. I don't really find the need to do it. I'm annoyed by the crowds. I'm done. I'm probably done with sporting events and large concerts for the foreseeable future. Outdoors, when I travel up to the Berkshires in Massachusetts and go to Tanglewood and see Yo-Yo Ma at an outdoor venue, of course. But I'm not doing that now. The last 5% is because of COVID. I'm just not interested. Indoor restaurants. I'm back to indoor dining. Now, you wear the mask when you go up to order and then you take it off or whatever. I don't care about that. I'm choosing restaurants based on, is it packed and the tables are stuffed together? Or is there some clearance where you're basically just sitting with the people that you're with? I'm not going to the really crowded indoor restaurants. I'll sit outside, or to the restaurants I go inside, I want some separation at the tables. I'm comfortable with that. You wear your mask to order or whatever, just to be brought to your table, and then you sit down. I've accepted that level of risk because I think it's acceptably low. I already don't go to church or synagogue or whatever. I'm continuing not to go. Am I traveling? Yes. After the Spain false positive incident, and in addition now with a 24-hour testing requirement, I don't know that I'm doing any international travel for the foreseeable future. Tomorrow I'm going out to the West Coast. Yes. I'm going to wear my mask. Everything. It's warm. I'm going to be mostly outside. It's an acceptable level of risk for me. Everybody has to figure out for themselves, but it's not really going to be too different for the next couple of years. It seems pretty clear. And so these are the options, and it's up to everybody to decide what to do. I had one other thought on this. What was the other component of this? In terms of indoor events with friends, if it's more than a few people, everything I've done, everybody's taking a test on the way in. And of course, there are questions as to the accuracy of the test and all those different things. But it's been an additional kind of layer, I guess I would say. So listen, people have got to figure out what works for themselves, right? Go on the Hassan Piker stream. What does that even mean? Like watch his stream? What's he even doing? He's not live. Yeah, he's not. Oh my God, I got like some frog in my throat. He has guests. Okay, yeah, if he wants to have me on, that's great. I'm going to be showing up at Hassan's house next week, actually. It's going to be quite a scene. It's going to be nuts, actually. I can't even imagine. I want to say thanks to Jeff Builds a Base for supporting us via Twitch Prime. I very, very much appreciate that. Super chats coming in. Don't you dare to give us a cold turkey. This may be the last stream for the year, guys. I'm not going to lie. Daniel says, Ermagerd, it's the Omicron variant. Oh my God. That is pretty weaponized. Jeez. Let's move away from that. Okay, so we took care of this. We did Omicron. The Omicron.
It's called the Omicron.
Right. We did this. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fourth doses are now being talked about. Jersey's most vulnerable to be offered a fourth COVID jab. Jersey's most vulnerable people will be offered a fourth vaccine. Officials say anyone with a problem with their immune system will be contacted. This is a plan for boosters. From Friday, those over 40 can get appointments for a fourth dose as long as they had their last at least 3 months ago. If you're under 40, you got to wait until January. Booster dose interval for all Islanders aged 40 and over will be reduced from 6 months to 3 months. What does Islander mean? Oh, this is Jersey. Oh my God. I'm an idiot. It's BBC. This is the island of Jersey. I'm like, it's kind of weird to refer to New Jersey just as Jersey, but they're referring to Jersey Island. Oh my God. I feel very stupid all of a sudden. Okay. So anyway, this is what they're doing on Jersey Island. And it's quite likely that fourth doses at some point will be coming to the United States. I already anecdotally know people looking very strongly at getting one soon. All right. So we gotten that out of the way. Here's something really, really funny. Donald Trump Jr. just tweeted bragging. Trump already sold 100,000 copies of his book, 50 times more than Chris Christie's book. I guess Chris Christie in its first week only sold like 2,500 copies. It's like, of course, it's a picture book. Look at who's buying it. It's a picture book. It makes perfect sense that based on the educational interests of Trump supporters, that they would buy a picture book at a much higher rate. I mean, pablum sells. There's no question about it. I don't know that I'd be bragging about it necessarily. Okay. Do you guys want to look next at the Nigel Farage Trump interview? I did clips on my podcast, but we can look at some of the full interview. Or do you want to do the Joe Rogan dangerous conspiracies? It's no longer about, the moon landing. We'll do both. But tell me what you want to do first. In the meantime, thanks to the Freak and Full Metal Crusade, Twitch subscribers, now numbers 11 and 12 today. Please sign up at joinpacman.com. You can use the coupon code OBAMNA to get a big discount. OBAMNA! SCOTUS hearing on abortion. Long and wide segment on that on today's bonus show. Okay. Check that out on the bonus show. And yes, guys, super chats are on. You can see the little edge of it, the green edge. The first two are just up there. The super chats are on. Okay. It's not clear whether people prefer the Rogan thing or the Trump thing. All right. We'll start with the Rogan thing. Let's look at this. So this is like really, 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 really bad. This is the latest from Rogan. This was during an interview with Jocko Willink. And here's Rogan's new theory about monoclonal antibodies and the vaccine, okay?
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this because it's fucking true. Because I've experienced it many times.
And I'm going to keep track of each claim, and then we'll go through each claim one by one.
people that I'm friends with. They're withholding monoclonal antibodies. They're trying to stop people from getting them. There's not a fucking shortage of monoclonal antibodies.
And so what does that do?
Monoclonal antibodies kills COVID like Raid kills roaches. When you get shot
So
up
you
with
get it after you get
Yes.
you get COVID, then you get this.
That's what
treatment.
they gave Trump, and that's what they gave me. Mm-hmm. I got better quick. I got better fucking quick.
And Trump got better pretty quick.
Pretty quick, and he's old and fat. He's old and fat, and he got better in 4 days.
So why are they withholding it?
Because they want you to get vaccinated. That's what I think. I think they don't want there to be a very clear path where you don't have to be vaccinated, but if you get sick, you're going to be fine.
So is it just the money going into the pharmaceutical companies that's driving people to want everyone to get vaxxed?
It must have an influence. It's also the narrative.
Right.
There's also people that have been vaccinated that don't want people to get away without being vaccinated.
What?
Because I think they know they took a chance. I think secretly they know. Like if anybody pays any attention, they know someone who's had a bad reaction to the vaccine.
All right, so let's go through each of these claims because this is really a Gish Gallop. This is very, very dangerous because this guy has such a big audience. And again, I have no idea if Joe Rogan, people ask me, am I beefing with him now? Or are we on bad terms? I've been on Rogan's show twice. I have no idea if he's aware of my coverage of his vaccine stuff. I wouldn't hide any of it. I would gladly talk about any of it with him on his show. Every time I mention it, people are like, David, he'll never have you back on, you loser. It's like, I understand that he may not because he might not like the things I've said. He also might have no idea about the things I've said. So go through the claims one by one. The first claim is that there's no shortage of monoclonal antibodies. And so we have to really kind of get to what it is that he means by that. And what I think he means is that the monoclonal antibodies are just as available as the vaccines. Now, that's not true. It's just not true. The monoclonal antibody, you can read about the production process. It is much more difficult to make doses of monoclonal antibodies as nearly as quickly as it is to make vaccine doses. So it's not true. The first question about there's a fake shortage of monoclonal antibodies. You don't have to call it a shortage, but there's not widespread availability in the way that there is for vaccines. Read about how they're manufactured. Okay. I don't have a firm grasp of every step in the process, but you can read about that. That's number one. Number two, he says it knocks it out. It kills COVID like Raid kills roaches, and they gave it to Trump and Trump got better like that. Neither of those things is true. It is true that in double-blind randomized controlled trials, the antibodies are efficacious relative to a placebo, which is why they received emergency use authorization, just like the vaccines did, right? If you trust the monoclonals, but not the vaccine, they both initially were approved on the same emergency basis, on the basis of the same types of trials. That's number one. Number two, Trump was very, very sick. Remember, they lied about how sick Trump was. And Trump immediately got the monoclonal antibodies, and he still got worse. And we subsequently learned, even though Dr. Sean Conley was very, very kind of skeevy about it, that Trump was on oxygen. They were part of the rush to get Trump to the hospital was, we want to do it while you can walk, because if you get more sick, which we're worried you will, we're going to have to bring you out on a stretcher. So it's also not true that with Trump, it cured it like that. Okay. Third claim, kind of the fourth, where Jocko says, why would they rather? Is it because of money for big pharma? And Rogan says it must be. Think about that. The vaccines are made by big pharma for profit, and the monoclonal antibodies are made by big pharma for profit. So even if you say, when there's a plausible thing, I will buy into it, this isn't even plausible because both are very profitable. And by the way, one treatment of monoclonal antibodies is far more profitable than one vaccine dose or even a full course of vaccines, which is now, 2 to 3 doses. So it doesn't even pass the sniff test. The vaccines also are much cheaper at the societal level, even though you give it to everybody rather than only people who get sick. That's how much cheaper the vaccines are relative to the monoclonal antibodies. So the profit motive is trash. And then what was the other one? Oh, everyone. Oh, that was so crazy. People who got vaccinated want others to also get vaccinated so that they also expose themselves to the risks, the gamble of getting vaccinated. What are you talking about? And then he also says, everybody knows someone who's had a really bad reaction from the vaccine. I have personally spoken in my life to, if you include people who call in, 1,000 people who have been vaccinated, right? I mean, people I know and people who've called. Nobody mentioned anything more than just flu-like symptoms. So 5 different false points. This is very, very dangerous stuff. It's very, very dangerous stuff at this point in time. And I think people seem to agree with me mostly in the chat. Oh, thanks to Dirty Kurda and Black White Rook for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, numbers 13 and 14. Also, thank you to John Canellis. John just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, with the coupon code Felony21. You can use the coupon code Obamna. You can also use the coupon code Felony21. Both are completely legal. Completely legal. All right, everybody. Other super chats coming in. David, can you check out the GOP War Room YouTube channel? Look at their chicken tender video. Maybe in a bit. Why do you think Rogan panders to conservatives and boomers more lately? It seems to me that Rogan has gotten sucked in Texas. I guess he now hangs out with Greg Abbott, that lunatic Texas governor. We know he hangs out with Alex Jones. He's hanging out with Tim Pool. I just think he's in an environment where he's getting this stuff constantly, and it sort of just sounds reasonable to him. Do you think him saying he's a comedian, saying you shouldn't take his views is a cop-out? It's not a cop-out, but I don't know. Thanks for not groveling at Rogan's feet like everyone else. Yeah, I mean, listen, I get... this is one of those things where, like, I recognize that me being on Rogan's show, it brings me attention and brings me audience, and that's fine. But I'm not going to pretend like... I'm not going to just ignore the things he's saying. He's saying things that are definitely dangerous at this point, and I'm going to cover it. Evan says, I've been taking monoclonal antibodies for 15 years for autoimmune disease. They cost thousands of dollars and have severe side effects. They only help in COVID if you're undergoing the cytokine storm. Okay, I'm not sure about that. That may be. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know enough about that to say, but you may be completely right about that. Okay. Will I give out any free stuff today? Sure. I'll give out a free item from my online store to number 20 today. How about that? 20th person to sign up on my website. We're at 15. You go to joinpacman.com, you sign up. I'll give you a free item from the online store. All right, let's go next to, okay, I had a few other things here. Oh, yeah, let's do that. But so I'm going to play, there's been a crazy situation on a plane where flight attendants kick off a guy for freaking out, I guess, about wearing his mask. So I am going to be wearing an N95 tomorrow on my flight. I've never worn one of these before. I do have a stack of them. And I'm just going to see what the comfort level is. Why not? I mean, I have them. It seems I might as well wear it. Let's see how comfortable it is. Hold on a second. How do I even put this on? Do both of these straps go over my head? Is this it? Is it protective in this way? No. Okay, hold on. This is not going well. Wait. Oh my God. This is insane. It's like, what the hell? It's like, it's not supposed to be down around my neck, is it? This is extremely uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. Hold on. Does this go higher? There's no way I'm wearing this on the flight, it's seeming like. Do both? It's like, where does this second strap go? That doesn't look right. It's also, there's holes right here. This seems terrible. Wait, it's upside down? Oh, this is a chin strap? Hold on a second. Now I lost my earpiece. What the hell is going on? Well, I guess there's nothing I have to hear right now. The writing... No. This is a nose thing right here. This is a nose thing. Fold the metal. Oh, I need to fold the metal. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's try it again. Oh, I see. Oh, that's way more comfortable now. Oh, now we're talking. Hold on. What about the second strap? Okay, that's actually not terrible. I mean, I look completely insane, but you know, I might just wear a KN95. I'm actually thinking. This is pretty uncomfortable. It's like, unless I keep this off of my ears, I don't think I'll make it. Maybe just like this. This seems good. Hold on. Is this allowed to just have the strap over my hair? I think this is the way I would have to wear it if I'm going to survive a 6-hour flight. Maybe duct tape. Yeah. Yeah, I've got like 100 KNs. Maybe I'll do that. Man, that is horrifying. All right, let me get strapped back in. That might be the worst N95 I've ever seen. No, it's the only one I've ever worn. The straps are really bad. Okay. Man, that is something. That is not comfortable. It'll probably keep people away from me because I'll look so insane. That's not a bad idea. All right. I want to say thanks to Papa Boat for the Twitch Prime sub. Very much appreciate that. Am I going on the Hippy Dippy show with Dylan Burns? Did he say something about that? Because yesterday he sent me a message asking me if I'd go on. Is that a coincidence? Has Dylan Burns mentioned that I may be on? Because I did tell him it's always Fridays, and I just don't really do any work on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I told him maybe January 7th would be the next time I might be able to do it. Because tomorrow I'm flying, and then next Friday I'm away, and then the Friday after that I'm away, and then the one after that I'm flying back, and the one after that is New Year's Eve, and then so we're looking at January 7th. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. I want to say thanks to Alex Richman for signing up on my website with the coupon code OBAMNA. New member number 17. Also, thanks to KT Cow for signing up on my website with the coupon code OBAMNA. And that is new member number 18 today. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that in a serious manner. Will you cover the Dr. Campbell video on ivermectin? Maybe. Just want to say how much we appreciate your lives. Thank you. Did you see Breaking Point's coverage of Andrew Yang, your Andrew Yang interview? Yeah, we played it yesterday. Speaking of tenders, had chicken tenders the other night, found one shaped like a boot. Crazy stuff. Uploaded 2 videos on my TikTok. Okay, yeah, I mean, we're not looking at, the shapes. As interesting as the shapes of chicken tenders are, I don't know that we're going to look at that right now. I think you nailed the issue. Rogan's not a bad guy, but hanging out with the hillbillies going full boomer mode. Okay, let's look at this incident. I hope I don't experience this tomorrow on my flight. So there's a guy up here, I guess, with no mask. That's the context. Now he's shoving. From the uniforms, it looks like a JetBlue flight.
Dragged on my nose. You made me wait 4 fucking hours for this flight. Do you understand that? You made me wait 4 goddamn hours. You gave me 1 cocksucking warning. 1 warning.
So what I'm guessing happened is after a big flight delay, the guy wasn't wearing his mask and he was asked to put it back on, and then he still wasn't wearing it, and then he was told he has to leave. That's my instinct here.
That's it. Look, the second he said something, I pulled it over my nose. Fucking bullshit. No, give me my shit. Give me my shit. Give it to me. I'll fucking move. Then go get it.
Tell me why my 5-year-old not to
Unbelievable.
bullshit. Okay, so all you're doing is
4 hours in this plane. My nose is for 2 seconds.
Oh my God.
Okay,
This can't be good for employment status.
was it
And you
big
take my
butter?
booty off and treat it like shit.
Okay, my son.
That is
Not
fucking
to
bullshit. And you
play
both
out.
know it. Your nose is showing when you fucking approach me. You know that? Your nose is showing when you approach me. Do whatever the fuck you want.
offer to
Like, it's hard to imagine this is the biggest problem in the lives of these people. Like, if you're behaving like this on a plane, my guess is you have other issues also you're contending with. But maybe I'm wrong.
fly. We offered to put it on and
Give me
not
my
something
shit.
accident.
I got an expensive watch on
now-
board. I got my backpack on board.
They're kicking us off. Everything.
Why is her mask not even on now? Like, it's very clear they're justified in even now she's still not wearing her mask.
It fell off his face to be a following or fixed it. It wasn't good enough for them. They won't tell me when to keep me off. That's all that happened. I'm sorry.
Man, this is really embarrassing. It's really, really embarrassing.
We don't know why. And listening on Frank with JetBlue won't tell me when. So it's okay, everyone.
Is this woman also drunk? It's hard to tell, but this is super cringy.
Let it go viral. There's more shit. You're holding my shit. What's your last name? Frank, what's your last name? Everyone I know is an attorney. I'm Bacardi. Have you heard of that?
What did she say? She's Bacardi?
Of course everyone you know is an attorney. Popcorn, anyone?
Man, what a humiliation. I mean, just a complete and total humiliation there. So that's that. Okay, let me see what else we had here. Oh, yeah, a few Fauci things. Oh, this is about Omicron from earlier today. Dr. Fauci did make a few statements. Let's take a listen.
Here's what we know right now. The individual was a traveler who returned from South Africa on November the 22nd and tested positive on November the 29th. The individual is self-quarantining, and all close contacts have been contacted, and all close contacts thus far have tested negative. The individual was fully vaccinated and experienced mild symptoms, which are improving at this point. So this is the first confirmed case of COVID-19 caused by the Omicron variant detected in the
It's
United
called the
States.
Omicron.
And as all of you know, because we've been discussing this, we knew that it was just a matter of time before the first case of Omicron would be detected in the United States.
All right. A couple other clips about this. I do want to say thanks to Cosmos, Blueberry Babe for gifting 2 subs, and Lucon860. That puts us at 22. Also, a big thank you to Monkey Play Chess, who just signed up at joinpacman.com with the coupon code OBAMNA.
Obama.
Okay, here is another. Now, this is interesting. This is about travel bans. Let's listen.
In Zimbabwe, in Namibia, in Lesotho, in Mozambique, what justify imposing a travel ban on countries that have 0 case of the Omicron variant?
You know, that's a very good question, an important question, and we did struggle with that. But we wanted to see if we could bide time temporarily. So I do hope that this gets sorted out and lifted before it has any significant impact on your country.
Yeah, I mean, so I do question the wisdom of the, it's like by the time South Africa sequenced this and came forward and said, good sirs, this is happening, we have this variant, it was already in Hong Kong, it was in Belgium, it was in the Netherlands, it was almost certainly in the United States, although we didn't know that for a fact, but now we know a guy came back on November 22nd and tested positive on the 29th. And you're kind of punishing the country that said, hey, guys, we know about a variant, and it's already everywhere. It's caused chaos, people getting to Southern Africa, people getting back from Southern Africa. I don't know. I'm just not sure. It's everywhere. Exactly. People are saying it's all over Europe. It's worldwide. It's in the UK. Just not sure about the wisdom of that. Here's one more question.
This proves more transmissible but less virulent than Delta. Would there be any public health benefit to furthering its spread by lifting travel restrictions, for example, so it can outcompete the Delta variant?
You're talking about something really dangerous. You're talking about let a lot of people get infected to see if, in fact, you could protect them. That's something that I think almost all infectious disease people with any knowledge about infectious disease would not say that's a good idea.
Right. I mean, it's like You wouldn't try to spread it. Trying to spread it is crazy. It's like chickenpox parties, the equivalent of a chickenpox party. But it would be reassuring if it was less severe. It would be reassuring if it was less severe. You can't control if it's more virulent and less severe. It's going to spread. You don't try to spread it, and you still protect at-risk people. You still get vaccinated. You still do all those different things. But trying to infect people seems cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, Dennis Prager might be a guy who tries to do that. I get the feeling people get busted pulling down their masks for 2 seconds on plane, have it pulled down longer than 2 seconds on purpose. Yeah, when I last flew, there were people playing really fast and loose with actively drinking, where they go like this while watching a movie to have the mask down the whole time. And, then they started with the announcements of, you have to be actively eating and drinking, and you should cover even between sips and bites. That's like the next level. Yeah, there was a woman who had a 2-hour drink because it was the movie lasted 2 hours. It was pretty wild. Yeah, get a straw, exactly. Thanks for streaming. Can you throw the unvaccinated and Obama?
Obama.
My pleasure. Okay, as we wait for the Christmas tree lighting, let's check out the Nigel Farage interview. Check this out. What a propaganda piece this was. It's an heroic appearance.
From the moment in 2015 when he announced he was going to run to become US president, Donald Trump has been in world news. He's dominated world news.
It's already funny. Look at this facial expression. It is already absolute and pure comedy.
Every day for 5 years, all over the world, it was Donald Trump has said this. Donald Trump is alleged to have said that, and what other people said about him. Yet something very odd has happened. Since the beginning of this year, outside the United States, he's virtually disappeared. Has he been silenced? Is it voluntary? What is going on?
No, people are thrilled he's gone. That's what's going on.
Well, today, we're going to find out. We're going to break that. And the first big foreign interview that Donald Trump has done, this is Trump Speaks to the World with me, Nigel Farage, here on GB News. Good to see you.
Well, I didn't know I was so quiet, but if you say so, that's okay with me.
Yeah, and I wonder...
What on earth?
Is that because of social media to a very, very large extent?
I don't know. I mean, I have not heard that, but it's possibly so. I have a lot of things to say, and sometimes I want to say them, and sometimes I don't feel it's appropriate to say them based on the position. We had a great election. We ended up, it was a rigged election, unfortunately. We got more votes than any sitting president in history by far, 75 million votes. More than 12 million.
It's already out of control, I know. And if Nigel Farage wanted to be taken seriously, he could ask for even a shred of proof for any of these claims.
That we had from the previous election, which was...
Instead, he's nodding. Nigel Farage is nodding at the lies.
63 million votes. I think we've said a lot about a lot of things, and certainly there's a lot to talk about if you look at what's going on in Afghanistan with the withdrawal, which was, I think, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And
no, not quite. Not quite. I think there's other competitors in the game.
You look at our borders, what's happening with our borders. You look at the cost of energy. We were energy independent. And
do you guys notice how Trump does that? You look at our border. There's like the sniffs are interjected in a very particular, unique way.
We no longer are. You look at so many different things. You and I could talk all day.
Yeah.
And it's a shame what's happened to the United States.
But we've not heard you through.
Whenever Trump says it's a shame, it's a lie. Okay. So when Trump tells a story prefaced by they came to me and they said, "Sir," it's almost certainly a lie. When Trump says, "and it's a shame," it's also it's a tell that he's lying. Also, when he's speaking, it's a tell that he's lying.
Through Twitter, it was for you, something that you used to massive effect. Oh, Jack Dorsey is being removed as CEO of Twitter because of shareholder pressure, but whether that means...
It's funny because it's not even Trump who's doing free association. Nigel Farage is jumping back and forth between completely unrelated topics as well.
They'll improve as a channel or not. I mean, I was amazed the day that the Taliban You mentioned Afghanistan a moment ago. The day the Taliban took over Kabul, I did put out a message that said it seemed ridiculous that their leadership was still active on Twitter, and yet you were still banned.
Well, they were wrong in what they did, and we're dealing with the United States president, who's obviously a popular president based on everything that you see, and them and Facebook, and I think they made a big mistake. I think if they had it to do over again, they wouldn't be doing it. We get the voice out. We have to do it. We have an obligation to do that. But he's leaving. I guess it was probably enforced because they're down. And also, there's no excitement on Twitter anymore.
Twitter is down.
As I understand it. There used to be a lot of excitement. Not only me, conservative people are leaving and being canceled. So they can't.
Trump left Twitter. That's interesting.
Canceled, they're leaving. And in my case, we used to get tremendous interaction with liberals and everybody else. And now they just say it's a very boring place to be, Twitter. It's going down. The numbers are going way down.
No, they are. On the election, as you
I like how Farage just they're absolutely going down. Are you talking about the stock price, number of users, amount of engagement, number of tweets? I think to the average American audience, Farage sounds like he knows more because he has a British accent, but I think he may be nearly as incompetent as Trump.
You say you got 11 million votes more than you got in 2016, because we know what happened. 29th of February last year, I was with you backstage at CPAC, and I thought he's going to win 40 states. I mean, things were looking...
Anyone who thought he was going to win 40 states is an idiot. Didn't Tim Pool put out a video saying Trump was going to win 49 states as if it was a serious political analysis? Like, listen, when I did my prediction of Hillary versus Trump in 2016, I got like a couple states wrong, and that was the difference. And people excoriated me for years saying, David, you should never comment again because you got the election wrong. The people saying he was going to win 40, 45 states, that's not even remotely plausible.
Terrific. The pandemic hit. And then you kind of got criticized from both sides. Biden said you were xenophobic because you closed the borders. You said we don't want foreign air travel. We don't want this virus being brought in. The other side said you didn't lock down hard enough. I mean, difficult in a pandemic to win as a president, as a leader. But the real effect...
Really? Because a whole bunch of world leaders were reelected on the basis of their handling of the pandemic. So it's obviously, it can't be that hard to win.
Of course was, for the first time ever in America, tens of millions of ballots being sent out through the mail system.
Well, they use COVID, or the China virus, as I call it, to rob and rig and steal an election. And they sent out millions and millions of ballots. Nobody knows where they went in so many cases. It was a disgrace. And everybody knows it. You look at even polls now, a big percentage of our country knows it. And it's very...
Yeah. For people wondering, I believe this is the relevant Tim Pool
In 2016, Nate...
Let me see if I can actually find it. Hold on here.
And it's betting odds. Now, I know betting odds aren't a guarantee. It's just what people think, but therein lies the point. If USC Dornsif is saying wisdom of the crowd is a better indicator, ladies and gentlemen, behold. From DraftKings election pool, only one state thinks Joe Biden will be president. In this tweet...
Oh, this is different, though.
They say with over 350,000 entries, a majority of people in every state besides Colorado predict Donald Trump will be the winner of tomorrow's election. Now, predict it doesn't say the same thing. They think the odds are favoring Joe Biden. But why then is it that predict it is giving...
Okay, I actually don't think this is the one where Tim Pool says he thinks Trump might win 49 states. Okay, let's get away from that. Let's get back to that. That's not the clip. Let's continue here.
Very bad for democracy. Very, very bad for democracy.
The problem was in so many of these states, because they'd never seen it before, kind of what they did in collecting the votes wasn't against the law, and that was part of the problem.
Well, but they didn't get it approved in many cases by legislatures.
Now, remember, that's not necessary. We've talked about that many times before. It is not. There's nothing illegal about Secretary of State or making decisions. There's nothing illegal about that.
You have to, so therefore it is against the law.
It's not.
It wasn't approved by state legislatures. You know, you can't do it even through a court. You can't do it. It has to go through the legislature.
That's not true. That's very much
untrue.
untrue.
And the legislatures didn't approve this stuff, and the courts didn't have the courage to take it up.
Right.
And so it's an interesting situation.
That is all a lie.
But
No, it is.
we'll see how it all ends out.
I mean, a lot of Americans, as you rightly say, a lot of Americans are genuinely concerned about election integrity. And I have to tell you, from my experience back in the UK, mass postal voting, leads to the wrong results very often.
Absolutely.
Wrong.
Automatically, by the way.
It's a bad system.
They cheat.
It's a bad
automatic. I mean, they put everybody on the millions of people on the honor system.
This is
there's
so
tremendous
stupid.
cheating with that. And, they've done studies on it. Everybody knows it. Every study comes out, you can't do it.
And it's a
Through the
shame.
mail. You can't do it. These mail-in ballots are, whether it's your country, whether it's the USA, it's
here's
an
the problem.
open invitation to cheat.
But here's the problem. I've seen some pretty extensive private polling that suggests that up to 20% of your potential voters and supporters feel so demotivated by the message that it's been rigged, that it's not fair, that it's not just.
That's interesting.
That in Georgia, for example, in that special election, which was the one that tipped the balance in the Senate.
I don't even know if Trump understands what Farage is saying, but it's actually a very good point, which is if you keep telling people it's rigged, they'll be like, I'll just stay home. You might be hurting yourself. Let's see how Trump responds.
There were a number that perhaps didn't go out to vote who would have done because they felt disgusted with the whole system.
Well, they felt the election was rigged, the preceding election, which was the presidential election.
Yeah.
And then when they had to vote a couple of months later, they really did lose their enthusiasm. And frankly, rightfully so.
Wow. So do you guys think Trump understands? Like Farage is saying, telling them it was rigged demotivated them. If you didn't tell them that, they might have gone out in January and you might have won those 2 seats. Trump seems to be saying that's right. They were demotivated by the election being rigged. Like they're kind of talking about two different things, but he seems to be accepting sort of what Farage says, but it's always unclear what Trump understands.
They had the governor of Georgia did a terrible job, like just terrible, having to do with
So he's doing the thing Farage says demotivates voters. He's actually doing that thing.
Election integrity. And yeah, they felt an election was rigged and stolen. And I would say they didn't have the enthusiasm to go out and vote. And I understand that.
So then
now,
the follow-up is, well, maybe you would have been better served not to do that.
one other thing, Mitch McConnell did a terrible job because this guy's talking about $600 giving during this troubled time, and they're talking about $2,000. You don't win elections that way. Now, right or wrong, you just don't win elections that way. So Mitch McConnell was a disaster, and I think that really they did get a lot of votes, but a lot of people were discouraged. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. So
by you, right? And so it's like he's agreeing. He's like, people were very, very discouraged. Yes. What Nigel Farage is saying is you discouraged them, sir.
looking ahead, from here, is the message to look back at November 2020 and to condemn and criticize much of what happened? Or is the message to look forward and try and make sure that weakness in the system can't exist again?
I think it's both. I think it has to be both. We have a base in Alabama, as an example. I had 69,000 people recently show up. Wherever I go, I think I'm getting bigger crowds now at the rallies, and you know the rallies because you've been to plenty of them. I have the biggest crowds I've ever had. And I think it has to be both, because if you don't study what took place and do something about it, if possible, I think they're going to do something about it. I don't view that as a foregone conclusion. If you don't look back, you really can't look to the future. But I think it's really a combination of both, and very strong to the future, but also it's very strong looking back.
So they're looking strongly at the future, and they're also looking very strongly at the past, it sounds like.
Looking at that very strongly.
Exactly.
People don't want that to happen again.
No, and voter ID. I mean, for example,
voter ID is very
there's an overwhelming majority, and it's not just Republican voters, it's Democrat voters who think voter ID makes sense, and we've got to have free and fair
If we didn't
elections.
have as an example, if we didn't have what happened in 2020, all of these legislatures and all of these people that are meeting and passing voter ID now would have never happened.
Notice that there's no proof provided for even a single assertion that has been presented in the 8.5 minutes so far.
So, looking back is okay. You have to look both ways, but you can't forget about what happened. And if you did, you wouldn't have all of the things that are happening now happen. And there's some very exciting things. But one of the...
What's he talking about when he said... Is he saying exciting things about changing the 2020 result? That can't possibly be what he means, right? He doesn't mean there's exciting things happening to that. He's not still talking about changing last November, 13 months ago. That's not what he's saying, is it? It's not even clear.
The big things is voter ID. And you have to stop the mail-in voting. The mail-in voting is just ripe for fraud, and that's what it was.
Well, I'm keen to look ahead with this conversation. One last point about the past. 6th of January, which is something that your opponents gleefully seized upon, particularly, the social media giants on the West Coast and everybody else. And I know that you were willfully misquoted in terms of what you'd said that day. Because
in many different ways.
No, you were saying go in peace, and I understand that, and I get that. Looking back on the 6th of January, was it a mistake to have had that rally on that day?
Well, I didn't have, there was a rally that was there, and if you look, it was a massive rally with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. I think it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And and I reverse it, the insurrection took place on November 3rd. That was Election Day.
Oh, God.
And before and after. That was, to me, the insurrection. And the January 6th was a protest.
Right.
But if you would have looked at the crowds...
That's some revisionist history there, huh? That is something else. Oh, thanks to Sinsir for signing up via Twitch Prime. Appreciate that. I can't think of any better day than today to re-up those Twitch Prime subs. Second day of the month. Also, thanks to Rex Moats, who just signed up at joinpacman.com with the coupon code OBAMNA. New member number 24. Very, very much appreciate that. People are saying there's a Dylan Burns clip about me. Links aren't allowed in the chat, but if someone can figure out how to get me that, well, I'm glad to look at that if we have time. Let's continue.
Nobody wants to talk about that. I believe it was the biggest and most people and I've spoken to very big crowds. I have never spoken in front of a crowd that size. Nobody ever talks about that. And
nobody ever talks about it. You've been out of office for almost a year. People should be talking about your crowd in Alabama.
Then, unfortunately, some bad things happened, but also the other side had some very bad things happen. And add this. I offered 10,000 and suggested 10,000 National Guardsmen. We want the National Guard to be there, 10,000, or even the military, because I knew the crowd was going to be massive. Because
that, I have seen no evidence that what he's saying right now is true.
I knew the anger that took place over the election being rigged, and I understood that. I understood it better than anybody. And Pelosi and these people turned it down. We would have had tremendous security, but they turned it down.
And that would have stopped people going into
that would have stopped any problem. Absolutely. They turned it down. Also, as you know,
So I guess Trump's version of events is it was Antifa and BLM who did January 6th. The real riot and insurrection was November 3rd. And Trump actually would have prevented Antifa and BLM from rioting on January 6th. I guess that's the message from Trump.
The police, I guess they say, were not given proper instructions by Capitol Hill, which is Pelosi. They were given some very bad instructions. So if you look at what happened and go back and really study it, they were so angered and so upset. And so, people crying. They were so angered by it. Now, if you lost the election, people don't act that way. But they knew that we won the election.
No, that's why they were acting that way. Because they lost.
And they went there. But to me, the real insurrection, if you look at it, took place on Election Day.
Now, either way, we've got Biden and Harris in office, and they've got plummeting poll ratings, and we've got a border crisis, as you quite rightly said, law and order, the Black Lives Matter movement, which is now becoming increasingly, I think, political, don't you?
It's shocking that it started off, with pigs in a blanket, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
You know the expression, fry them like bacon. And that was about our police, our great police. And all of a sudden this becomes mainstream? I don't really think so. And Antifa, bad, very bad.
Bad.
And they had
Antifa is bad.
Antifa in that rally. They had Antifa leading a lot of people on that day on January. And I will
No evidence of that either. I mean, not that I need to tell you guys, but
say that it's pretty incredible that nothing happens to them. But the other side, this has been going on for many years.
So they're not just about racial equality then.
Well, I think they're about politics, but I think they're about a lot of other things. If you go back to their original founding and what they were saying, kill the police. What they're saying is kill the police.
I know.
And that becomes mainstream. Not good.
No, not good. We've seen specimens of it, of course, over in the UK, and we've
yeah.
seen Churchill's statue defaced and all of these things.
Well, you saw Churchill's beautiful bust.
When the Churchill bust was defaced, it was just like what happened on January 6th, guys.
Being removed from the White House. When I got there, I said, send it back. They called, would you like to have the bust of Winston Churchill, a great one, right?
Yep.
Even you would say that,
Yeah,
Nigel.
absolutely.
And I said, I absolutely want it explained. And as you know, President Obama, I believe, sent it back. He didn't want it. And I said, let's bring it back.
No, well, Joe Biden got rid of it on the first day. Which
did he? Oh,
yeah.
no.
Which is why,
I'm
of
not
course,
surprised.
there's been no advancement with trade deals and all the rest
I
of
mean,
it.
why would you do that with Winston Churchill and you're trying to get along with your country and you send, it's such a token, but such an important token. No, I had it back for my entire time.
Oh, man.
It was there. I looked. He was a very handsome man.
He's a very brave man, too. But Biden, G7, Biden turns up at the G7, and this was before he let everybody down in Afghanistan, and which leaves us wondering, where is America in the world now? I mean, we've got big threats, haven't we? We've got a lot of Russian troops on the Ukrainian border.
Yep.
We've got China, ever more bellicose in their statements about Taiwan.
All right. I mean, have we kind of seen enough? I think we get the picture of it. We get the picture of what it's all about. And I have a YouTube clip out about it. I don't know that we need to do the full thing. We're ready to move on. Okay. Yeah. I want to say thanks to D. Hugh, Frisky Seal, and Hajasad for signing up via Twitch Prime. Thank you so very much. We're standing by for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Okay, so as I said, I'm willing to look at whatever Dylan Burns said about me or my channel, but somebody has to help me figure out how to find it because I don't know where it is. So you could email it to info@davidpakman.com or just describe how to find it, and then I would be glad to look at it. Also want to say thanks to Afex for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're number 28 today. A few super chats. I suddenly miss hearing from Jimmy from Philly. Farage has an interview show on GBN where he drinks pints of ale in front of a pub interior rear projection screen. Giga cringe. That sounds pretty bad. GB News is such an embarrassment to my country. Yeah. David, will you celebrate the day you no longer have to worry about which mask you're going to wear on a plane? Of course. Very much so. I'm looking forward to that. I like how you can clearly see Trump's platform shoes in this interview. Yeah. It's not untrue. Not a joke. Right? Not a joke.
Not a joke.
Nope, not one bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how else I can say this. I can't play the Dylan Burns clip from him talking about having me on if someone doesn't tell me where to find it. I'm not sure I know like how else to explain this. Dylan Burns Twitch. Let's see. It's just like I just don't know where the clip is. Let's see. Videos. Highlights or popular clips. Okay, there's only one clip under highlights. Popular clips. Let's look at, like, I guess the recent ones. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it this way. I'm sorry, guys. I'm glad to play it, but I just don't know where on earth it is. Okay. All right. We're done with it. Fine. I just Oh man, I'm willing to work with you guys, but you got to work with me. You got to work with me. Okay, a few voicemails as we stand by here. Let's see. Here's Eric from Mass. I'm sure it's a very coherent voicemail.
Hey, David, Eric from Mass. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., one of the most staunch Democrats ever, just released a book, The Real Anthony Fauci. And
yeah, the book is bonkers. I had dinner with him once. Perfectly nice guy, but the book is bonkers.
If I were you, Fauci is a complete psychopath. The stuff he did to dogs, kids, mass killing of kids, covering it up. You need to see this stuff. This guy led you astray.
Yeah, it's all boring. It's all very, very boring. He's been calling in a lot, actually.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. Two things, pretty important. Your viewers and you will enjoy this. First thing is check The Guardian. Federal judge says Comirnaty is not what they're using. And
already been debunked.
Hey, David, Eric from Mass. The first 500 pages of the Pfizer report are out. Gal Shalev has it on Twitter, and it's quite plain and simple. It should have been recalled within the first month.
Man, he's really... I wonder if he even works. It's all crazy. Thanks to a John B. Audio and Shugs80 for the Twitch Prime subs. Really appreciate that, guys. Also welcoming anybody who wants to grab a membership at joinpacman.com. I will sing your praises to a fault. And you can use the coupon code OBAMNA to get a 68% discount. See it there?
Obama.
Yeah, it works perfectly. Here is, I think, Troy York mad that I think Dr. Oz is a quack. Let's see what he has to say. Not playing. It's weird. See if we can find it again. Where was that? Oh, here it is. Okay.
I'm totally angered at your attack on Dr. Mehmet Oz. More typical communist propaganda.
Okay. Mehmet Oz is interesting. That's my show playing in the background. Goes on for 3 full minutes, which is really, really strange. Really strange. Oh, Jimmy from Philly also calling in about Dr. Oz. Something seems up with the voicemail. I've got to refresh it between voicemails. It's strange. Let's see.
David, Jimmy from Philly. Wiped. So I'd like to take this time out to thank you for letting me know that Dr. Oz is running for the Senate here in Pennsylvania.
Right, Jimmy, because I'm sure if I hadn't mentioned it, you would have no idea. This is now Jimmy will say that thanks to me, Dr. Oz got 1 more vote. Right. Jimmy would have no idea Dr. Oz is a candidate were it not for me.
Didn't know. Thank you for that advertisement, David.
There it is.
And you know, you got a lot of balls. Calling him a liar. Like you're the arbiter.
Well, Jimmy, I mean, explain to me, how do you give me evidence that raspberry ketones do something for your health? Tell me about how green coffee bean extract can do whatever, or stuffing lavender in your sheets at night will cure whatever, and Reiki works. Just send me the evidence, Jimmy, please.
Fire is. It's just too much, David. That's real comedy gold there. And I love that commercial for mushroom coffee. Peer-reviewed studies. Really, David? Really, David?
Guys, it's actual coffee with mushroom powder. I'm making no health claims. Man, Jimmy's shot out of a cannon. Someone sent me the Tim Pool 49 States compilation. Let's take a look at that. This seems interesting.
Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're Biden. I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory, which shocks the left. I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump 2020 landslide, even with everything going on with COVID. I think that's what we can expect. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think...
How can even I think if you just sat an 8-year-old down and you showed them election maps of the last 20 presidential elections, I don't think any one of them would believe that the 2020 election could have had either candidate winning 49 states. Like how could anyone believe that?
I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale Reagan type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may...
Now, my guess, I haven't spoken to Tim for a while. My guess would be if you confronted him with this, he would say it's the voter fraud that's responsible, right? Like, has he been taken to task for this? My guess is he would explain it away by saying voter fraud and stuff like that.
I see a 49-state landslide, maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I think we might be seeing a 49-state landslide. I just really think it's more likely that Trump wins 520 electoral votes. No amount of mail-in ballots will matter. If Trump gets 537 or 36 or even 538, every single electoral vote. We all know Joe Biden will lose. Like, let's be real, man. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, Donald Trump's going to win. The Republicans are going to...
Why stop at 50? I actually think it's conceivable if Trump runs in 2024, he'll win 53 states.
Sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has defeated Donald.
All right, so that's pretty solid. I like that. Man, it's like, how on earth could you think that is even remotely plausible? Thanks to Bobby, Foyce Intin, and Dr. Kill Switch for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Very much appreciate, guys. Ferret Queen says, you missed my anniversary super chat. It's okay, no biggie. Was that today? Orange is the New Black has a clip about Freakonomics and how abortion helps society, lowers crime. Mississippi is poor and this applies greatly. Is that the one, Ferret? That's the only one I'm seeing today. I apologize. David, I'm running for county level office in California. I want to get people excited about getting involved in local communities. I'd love to talk to you about my campaign. Yeah, we can't really, we don't have the bandwidth on the show to do hyper local campaigns. We just get dozens and dozens of requests and it's sad, but we're not able to accommodate them, unfortunately. I wish we could. I really do, but it's not plausible. Thanks, Blueberry Babe, for the continued sub-gifts over on Twitch. Also, thanks to Krillov for the Twitch Prime subscription. Appreciate that as always. All right, let's continue just taking a bit of a tour through some of our voicemails. Let's see what else we've got here. A lot of very, very strange voicemails, I have to say.
Hey, Pac-Man. This is Steph from Wisconsin. So I have an interesting story, and I need your advice on if I need to report this to the CDC.
Okay.
So my nephew finally got his second vaccine dose, and suddenly he is amazing at math. He has been acing every single math test possible. Is this something I need to report to the CDC?
I would report that. What do you guys think? That's if you get a dose and then you're incredibly good at math, I think that the authorities should know about that. That's a big, big, big deal. Looks like yes. Yeah, I would absolutely report that. Doesn't sound normal. Doesn't sound normal at all. All right. Very nicely done, Steph. I think, she calls from a blocked number. I think Steph has had funny voicemails before. I was going to look them up, but unfortunately I'm unable at this time. Okay. Let's hear from Whitney briefly.
So, what I'm not understanding is, like, why in the media does it look like people are saying to, like, take your masks off and all this stuff is, not necessary. What? And it's like, there's people, like, saying stuff like, you don't own me, stuff like that. And it's like, you're in your house. You're not able to go anywhere. You're basically on house arrest.
Man, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. Omicron is an anagram for moronic. I told you this.
Is that true? Is that actually true? Omicron and moronic? Or is that actually an anagram? Let me see. Okay. Omicron. MORO. And oh my God, it is. That is actually pretty. This is the only voicemail from Eric from Mass that I've actually found moronic, not moron, moronic, guys. He is right, actually. That's crazy.
You cannot be this uneducated. There's no way. There's no way you can be this uneducated, or you're having your followers or whatever you want to call them led down the path of no return. I don't understand it, but since I've called you, since I've told you, and you know all this, when the deaths start, people will consider you complicit for putting it out there and forcing people and with your words, forcing people and being forceful about it and making people feel stupid and all this. And, it's going to be on you, all these millions of deaths and all the...
For a year, he's saying my arrest is imminent. It's crazy.
Vaccine and this booster shit and all this garbage. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? What? I don't know. I think you need some psychiatric help.
Yeah. Well, just to be clear, because YouTube is getting very strict, the assertions made by Eric from Massachusetts are not backed by science. Millions of people have not died from the vaccines, but Omicron is an anagram for moronic. That is true, and I concede to. I will stipulate to that. Another one from Whitney.
So how do people know exactly where the COVID originated from? Like they're saying it's from like a distinct lab, but I don't see how they would be able to have the kind of technology to trace the origins to the precise location.
Well, you don't have to understand it, Whitney. There's many technologies I don't understand, but I believe they exist. Yeah.
Hi, David. So last Sunday, I actually fell down some steps and busted my ass outside my apartment and had to go to the local hospital.
That I'm sorry to hear.
I got to see firsthand just the crazy epidemic that the nurses are having to deal with. We could hear them out in the hallway talking about how overworked they were. And there were people before me that had been waiting 20 hours and still had not gotten a room. So the struggle is real, even though a lot of people try to deny it. And this was a major state hospital. Don't worry, nothing's broken and I'm doing better. Happy Thanksgiving.
That's good to hear. Wow, that's really something.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. I got a question for you. Maybe you can answer me. Where is the line for you on the vaccines?
The line?
All right. Now, follow me here. You've had, by my count, if you're scoring at home, like they say on games, you've taken 4. You've taken the original 2. You just took your booster, and you're going to take the flu one. Okay, so that's 4 and...
Wait, hold on. So if the question is how many vaccines have I had in my life, I don't know how that's relevant to COVID. I mean, in my life, how many, what are the vaccines I've had in my life? Tetanus a few times, MMR. I've had 20 flu vaccines. Hep B is a common one. I mean, it's probably a couple dozen. And what kind of a question is that? What's the end game? The end game is avoiding diseases for which we have vaccines. That's my end game.
11 months, depending when you got it, 9, 10, 11 months. And my question is, Fauci is out there saying 4 a year. What's your line?
4 a year? What is he talking about?
Is that fine every 3 months? How about every 2 months? How about every 1 month? How about every week? What's your line where you finally say, something's not right here? Because mine was at 0. But that's me.
All right. Well, don't get any vaccines. And also, by the way, I hope that Eric also doesn't take antibiotics. I hope he actually really is principled in this, refuse any treatments not available before 1880. Use leeches. I mean, really, really go with it. Go with the full thing.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass again. I almost forgot. Looks like evidence is out, and the people who got that new variant are all been fully vaccinated. So basically...
Yeah, so that's not true. It's a mix. And, this was from Saturday, 12 hours after we learned about it. Pretty sad, actually, that people believe this stuff. It's extremely, extremely weaponized stuff. Yeah, also, I mean, I hope he's not using any kind of artificial vision correction that's not natural. I mean, contact lenses and glasses, very, very much not natural. That is not something, if God intended for us to be able to see well, we wouldn't need glasses and contacts. He should stop using his Viagra prescription. That's very much not natural. That should be stopped. Shouldn't use, antibacterial soap. That is straight up, that is devilish. That is devilish. Actually, I don't use antibacterial soap. I read that it may kill good bacteria. I don't know about that. I just use regular soap. He should use untreated tap water. Certainly shouldn't be calling me on an iPhone. Okay. And he shouldn't be, if he's driving a car, we're really going to have a problem with this guy. Hey, by the way, at this point, will you guys believe I've bought hundreds of pairs of contact lenses? It's like, what is the limit, right? They sell you one pair and that's not even the end. You got to buy another pair and another pair and another pair. It must be a scam just on that basis. All right. Very sad guy. Very, very sad guy. Kind of seems like a Jimmy from Philly type character where his life is probably sad in some way. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for me today. They're running an hour late on this Christmas thing, and I'm Jewish anyway, so why am I watching a Christmas tree lighting? We covered everything I wanted to cover. We've done it all. We really have done it all. So the best to everyone. I am going to be bringing you some really interesting things over the next few weeks of travel. I'll tell you more about it at my first opportunity. See everybody very soon.